Earl Grey Tuesday. And once again, it's it's that VINCE. How y'all doing tonight? And folks, the air quality, as you read on the news, is still horrible. Pollen levels are high, so there won't be another cigar. Hopefully, this ends this week. But we got our little cigaretto, what I generally smoke during the day or so forth. I'll have one or two. But I certainly hope you guys are doing well. This stream will probably go until 11 o'clock tonight. I want to go ahead and do some reaction videos and stuff. But of course, being Earl Grey Tuesday, as usual, I got the Earl Grey going. A lot of stuff on live. Veganism Exposed is probably going to try to do an edited video. Mark, I'm not familiar with Parent Disrespect. I've not seen any. He's not posted any videos in about a week or so, unless he's recently done something. Let's take a look and see. I think he stopped filming videos or something. Oh, no, he did a couple videos, I guess. I guess he took some time off, but... yeah. Still more of the same thing, but who cares? Yeah, I know it's Pride Month. Loud when I came in, so it probably cut off the mic temporarily, Pugman. Certainly hope you're doing well. But yeah, anytime I get real loud on the microphone, it sometimes just cuts it off. That's just how my voice is. But let's check the microphone to make sure the properties are correct on it. Hang tight. I'm going to check something real quick. Alright, can y'all hear me better? Can y'all hear me better? Okay, I'll have to check the connection on it. As far as a Toronto Pro, oh yeah, we got to talk about that. The only thing I could say is I'm not kind of surprised, but it's amazing that we have a whole new lineup of bodybuilders and stuff. Ian did pretty well, and Hassan did good. But this is pretty much I don't see any veteran. I didn't see any veterans in the show, but I thought it was all right. I didn't do any. I didn't really follow it along. I just saw the night show and the pictures and stuff. But, it was a good lineup. I didn't see any issues. Looks like the judges called it right for the most part. 212 division was kind of small, actually. It was very small. So this was a very small event, is the best thing I can say. There was no vets in the show or anything. So I think it gave people the opportunity, just to, give out, put their business card out, per se. Oh yeah, Mack Truck. Am I excited for Gay Pride Month? I mean, I'm gay 365 days a year. Folks, I'm not one of those types that believes in Black History Month or Pride Month or any other types of months whatsoever. You know, there's no such thing as being gay for 30 days a week. I mean, 30 days in a given month. There's no such thing as being black 30 days in a month. I mean, at this point in time, it's sort of like advertising and just to sell products and everything like that. There's always a money factor between Pride Month because then you have the parades, which means the bars get a bunch of money. So it's just I think all these months are just monetization of other things. Frank Tufano is having to move out, actually. I think the landlord finally got rid of him. Yeah, Black history is American history. There shouldn't be a separate column for, history of things. I mean, people think, when they see Gay Pride Month, they think of all the rainbow flags and the glittery bags and Little Nas X. And they forget about places like Stonewall and, the people that make fun of me that went out there and back in the 90s and everything. They just don't recognize it, But it's all monetized bullshit at this point in time. Companies want to make a whole bunch of money off of some bundle of sticks, in my opinion. I mean, it's if you think of that, these companies that do that are more homophobic than what's out there, So, hmm. Hmm. But forget about Pride Month there. Y'all know my opinion on it. I mean, I'm glad people are celebrating. It's better than what it used to be 20 years ago. If they want to celebrate, that's fine. I got work to do, folks. But getting back to the Toronto Pro Show, I think it was called Even Down the Line. Some people called it a boring lineup, but the good thing about these small shows is it gets these people out there, gets their calling card, and it's going to help them, in the long run as far as their bodybuilding careers. And when you win a pro show, that's going to be even awesome. Very few people turn pro, but even fewer people actually win an IFBB pro show, so that's for sure. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. But yeah, we got to this country needs to get off this, black history, pride history, or whatever history. We need to stop making fun of heritages and stuff like that, See, I've been born and raised in the South, and it's like culture and heritage is beginning to disappear to where someone's heritage is now considered as racist, or so forth. That's just the way the country is these days. A couple of my friends are having trouble with their jobs. They work at the Budweiser distribution plant, so... the one thing about controversies and stuff, these politicians like stirring the pot, but, they do this in order to get votes, not knowing the consequences of putting out American jobs. Just remember, folks, there's always a cause and a reaction to everything, period. Always. And this falls in the same line with Pride Months and everything like that. Everyone is trying to get the upper hand on, being an American. What accounts for being an American, in other words. I'm more American than you because I believe this, or vice versa. Or you're not patriotic because you did this, you know. Can Vegan Gains beat me up? No. He's never even been in a fight. I mean, I've not just been in fights, I've been in wars. Literally wars with inmates and stuff. You try fighting an inmate. An inmate only has, an inmate in any prison has 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and finding ways to try to kill you. And I've had 2 attempts at my life by 2 different inmates in my time, you know. And when I say kill, that means that they're trying to take your life to snuff you out of existence, you know. Richard's never been in a fight. I fought for I was in a fight, you know, practically once a week for 11.19 an hour. I don't think he's ever laid his hands on Jasmine. He's never hit her before. Come on, Justin. But he is beginning to scare me a bunch. It's like he's falling apart. But it's like I said, folks, those nicotine tablets obviously ain't working. He thought a raccoon should bite a little girl. And the raccoon had rabies and stuff, you know. The nicotine pills are not working, as I said, folks. SARMs are going to make it even worse. Ah, no, you're good. You're good. Because he's streaming every night. You know, he's not taking any breaks. He's not taking any time off, Weapon X. I mean, he's not working a 40-hour job, but when you stream for hours and hours and people troll and make fun of you and make you dance like a monkey and twerk and everything, and you have to embarrass yourself every day, end on end, and you're already a psychopath, it's not good for the psyche. He needs to take at least a week or 2 off, get his head straight. Oh yeah, Richard's smart. I mean, if you look at some of his early videos, he's obviously good at media production. He's not dumb or anything. But at the same time, he does lack some self-awareness. He's probably trying to put on some muscle, either that or recover from injuries. That's generally what peptides do. Yes, I'm getting smoke in North Carolina. That's what's also affecting this air quality. That's why I've been using cigarettos and stuff. That's why I'm not smoking tonight the cigars, or haven't done it in about a week or so. Once it comes back down, it's back to the cigars, people, you know. But I'm perfectly fine with it because these cigarettos is what I generally smoke anyway. But yeah, with the pollen, the smoke from the forest fires, it's just bad out there. I mean, I got filters in my house and everything like that, but, you know, I still have to venture outside. I got to go outside. I got to go to the gym and everything. So, yeah, it's messing with my nasal passages. And when it does that, it puts me out of the mood to enjoy a good cigar, you know. Weapon X, my grandpa, he ate really bad food. He ate chitlins and hog jow and everything, and he lived to be 90 years old. But I'm always concerned about health wise here. You know, everyone naturally has naturally wants to stay alive. But at the same time, you have to give the pros and cons, you know. Without cigars and alcohol, I wouldn't have been able to do my job at Verizon. And nowadays, with me no longer working there, as you guys notice, not drinking as much, if anything at all, you know. I don't think I've drunk any alcohol in like 4 days at least, because I don't need to. It's the same with the cigars. A lot less. I need a new microphone, actually. I've yelled into this one too much. Would I ever lend money to a parent? Yes, I've lent money to my parents. My parents have lent me money, you know. I mean, they raised us. They raised me after all, so why wouldn't I loan money? How is my job stressful at Verizon? Well, all the customers and handling my job was to handle escalated calls. That's what customer relations do. We handle all the real nasty stuff. But also, the biggest thing is statistics and deadlines and everything like that. Verizon is a very stressful job. I mean, that's why they pay the big bucks. I mean, they paid a bunch of money and I had a bunch of benefits, but man, you certainly did pay for it, that's for sure. But I have no regrets because it got my bills paid and everything. Yeah, I'm going to get me a new microphone because this one's cutting out. Either that or I'm going to re-plug it in. I'm not sure what's causing it. I know what I can do. Let's do this. Oh, actually. But yeah, but you know what? The one thing I'm glad about is that I didn't decide to move because I would have been out of a job as of June the 6th, which is today actually, because I was going to get laid off. So so I saved myself maybe $20,000 or $30,000 in moving. Uh Vegan Gaines has had a vasectomy, and since he hates kids, he's never going to have children, which is a good thing that he's not going to have any offspring. Frank Tufano will probably have kids, sadly enough. Eventually, some woman's going to want to fuck him. It's going to be it's going to be a lady that's crackers that wants a baby. That's the thing, folks. There's always a woman for you. You can be as ugly as fuck, and there'll still be a woman for you out there. Some woman will spread their legs for Frank Tufano. I just don't want to be there to watch. hmm. Hmm. But other things in the news there, everyone seems to be jumping into the Republican primary. Did you guys see Mike Pence riding that Harley Davidson? I mean, just trying to show. I mean, it's good that he knows how to ride a motorcycle, but you know, no one's ever going to think Mike Pence is a a bad guy or anything like that. No one's going to see him as a tough guy. And now Chris Christie decided to run for office. What he needs to do instead of running for office, he needs to run on that treadmill. Trump is going to kill all these people. Some of these people are polling at 0%, I mean, they're going to get beat down by Trump. Andrew's alive. Well, let's take a look and see what he's doing in just a minute. What the hell? Well, folks, looks like YouTube has put the new feature to where it was gonna cut in and run a commercial ad. Which I'm not gonna do that because YouTube always limits my videos, so it doesn't do any good for me to run ads. Yeah, I don't know why he's live for. Tim Scott being a possible VP. I mean, him going on The View helped out a bunch, but, if he was going to be a VP, it would be a VP to Nikki Haley. If Nikki Haley and Tim Scott ran together, they would have a possibility. But you got Trump. Neither one of them can beat Trump. At least that I can see. Some people are looking for an alternative to Trump, but Trump is just too popular, People love the guy, But just all these people jumping in, I mean, it's like a crowded hot tub, And eventually the water's going to get a little grimy, and people are going to get out of that hot tub. Oh, I'm not worried about Kalura doing my viewership here. He does his thing, I can do mine. No, I wouldn't buy any meat from Frank Tufano. Number one, it would have to be shipped. And being in Greenville, I have Whole Foods, I have Harris Teeter, and a bunch of other restaurants. Or excuse me, a bunch of other grocery stores. And two, his stuff is overpriced in my opinion. For what you're actually getting. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't buy anything from Frank, but obviously people buy from him because he sells a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, I guess they believe his shtick there, Yeah, it's a political Royal Rumble, and Trump is Brock Lesnar. He's going to start tossing people out of that ring pretty quickly. The Yankees game. The only time I keep up with baseball, really, folks, is with my cousin Nico. That's about it, The Astros did my cousin pretty bad, 10 appearances in games there. It doesn't make any bit of sense, But lately, my cousin Nico's been hitting a bunch of home runs. So, I mean... So, as long as he keeps going... Because right now he's playing for the Red Sox. But as long as he gets going with things, hopefully the Red Sox don't do the same thing that the Astros did, or the Twins. But you always got to wish best for your family. That's for sure. Oh boy. How would I be able to join in with Kalora anyway? I don't think that's even possible. He would have to do an invite. Mob money for interest is usually 20 or 30%. It definitely ain't 8%, that's for sure. I don't have StreamYard, I have Streamlabs. I mean, if he was on Discord or something, I can join him. Well, the audio's better because I have a router set up now, a cellular router that gives me a much better bandwidth. What do I pay per month? I'm paying $100 a month to run the router. Actually, I just got the first bill for it today. It was like, with activation and setup, my bill came out to be $222. But yeah, it's expensive to run it, but it's worth it. I mean, I'm running at a really good frame rate, so I can't really complain. Plus, I can do reaction videos now. Probably even game, but I got to test that out pretty soon. But I'm thinking that it may lock up or something. It just depends. But again, folks, you can thank Pugman for the router, so... But one thing is for sure, it's expensive. But as far as VIG is concerned, Goldberger, usually it's 25% a week, actually. It's not per month. Usually when it comes to mob money, you have a week to pay. If you don't pay within a week, then it goes up. And if you don't pay again, you might get your legs broke. Weapon X, Richard, Jasmine is going to be probably going to be the only person that's going to be willing to put up with Vegan Gains. You have to understand that Jasmine already knew about Vegan Gains' problems and his psychological behavior before marrying him. I would doubt that any other woman would want to pick up with someone that's highly suicidal. I mean, did you listen to his wild dreams that he has about raping and murdering an entire family and stuff? It's just plain sick, you know. And now it's gotten even worse. He's doing orc porn. He's flapping live on. He got caught flapping live, and someone said it was femboy porn and stuff. So I just don't know. I'll have to ask Veganism Exposed if he has any video. If you guys got any video of that or seen it, give me some details on it. But that's what I heard, and you know, it's just an example as far as the. Yes, you can control dreams there, Infinite. I don't dream. I've never dreamed like that before. No, no. When you're dreaming like that, you got problems. But yes, you can control your dreams, especially some sick stuff like that. That's for sure. Rip with a $3 donation. Vegan Games was trying to beat it after his live stream, but he accidentally live streamed himself, finding a porn video to jack off to. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But again, thanks for the donation. Not sure why the sound didn't come up. Give me just a second. I need to test a widget.
This is a test donation for $28.
I wonder why I didn't. I wonder why I didn't speak out yours, Rip. But in any event, thanks again for the donation. How often do I dream? I dream every night, but, you know, I don't have violent dreams. I have very pleasant dreams. I'll have the occasional nightmare. Usually when I have a nightmare, it usually involves me working in the prisons and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, usually if I have a nightmare, it's something like that along the lines. But honestly, I can't really remember. I never really remember my dreams or what I dream about per se. It's sort of, for me, I guess the best way to describe my dreams, it's pretty much like I'm doing regular work on the outside. Sometimes, well, actually, I can remember. Sometimes I would actually dream about still working at Verizon. Sometimes I still dream about working at Taco Bell. Whenever I was a kid and everything, or when I went to Mars Hill College. So most of my dreams are about personal experiences and stuff. So Goldberger with a $1.99 donation. Definitely appreciate you supporting the channel here. Feel free if you have a question to ask her. Yeah. Well, no, it's okay to stroke it there if you're married, Justin. Just don't do it openly live or right in front of your wife or anything like that. Have some respect for the woman, you know? That's the thing, Warfare. I hardly ever remember my dreams. Those are really the only dreams that I really remember. Other things you know, it's usually me doing menial things, if anything. I would agree with you, KCB. Yeah, the ones I hate are the ones to where I'm thinking I'm waking up, but I'm not waking up. I used to have that happen a lot with melatonin, and that's why I don't take the stuff anymore. I used to take a lot of melatonin whenever I was still in that competition mode, and the GABA stuff, but I don't mess with that stuff anymore because it was giving me lucid dreams. Pot smokers don't drink. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really remember my dreams for the most part. I only remember those three because, those are things I've dreamed about over the years that I can specifically remember. Other than that, not really. I've never had any violent dreams. When I was a kid, you have wet dreams, but that's just puberty kicking in and stuff. I don't have that anymore. Yeah, anything has effect on it. Diet, stress definitely has an effect on dreams. I hear a lot of people, and I've done it before. I've dreamed about still, doing work at Verizon and stuff. A lot of dreams can be triggered. I mean, a lot of the really bad dreams can be triggered by stressful moments in your life. You know, that's why I would consider a nightmare whenever I was working at the detention center as such, but not in the sense to where I'm waking up screaming and sweating and everything like that. It's just an unpleasant dream. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this mess here. Let me get out of it. I've already lived that life, and stuff. You know, I mean, folks, when you have people that try to kill you, you definitely are gonna. It does make an impression on you there. You know what I mean? I mean, I whoop their asses and everything like that, but you can't. It's hard to get over when someone tries to kill you. You know what I'm saying? But as violent of a dreams that Vegan Gaines has, he's never been in a fight. He couldn't squish a grape in a fruit fight whatsoever. He really couldn't. You were attacked in your sleep by an entity? Yeah, what kind? It better not be some poltergeist stuff. Richard will never top Janoy's video where he went off like a garden hose with his brain damaged, dirty talk, and eating it. Well, KCB, like I said, I think the stuff is only beginning for Richard as far as to his journey into the abyss. It really is. I don't. It kind of scares me what comes up next. I really do wish the best for my cousin and everything because he is family after all. Distant family, but still family. But I'm kind of worried about him. He's gonna seriously mess himself up on that. No, he's already messing himself up on the nicotine. He's gonna mess himself up on those peptides. Will you cut out that love you stuff, Chad? I mean, that's kind of weird. But one thing I have to say in terms of dreams, that is one of the most common. That's the stuff that's been studied for centuries, and no one still has an actual idea as far as the purpose of dreams. They really don't. Who is generally more functional? I would say Janoy is way more functional than Richard. I mean, for the same reasons that you just mentioned, because he's held a supermarket job forever, you know. I mean, you got to respect that. You know, Janoy can sit home with, collecting disability, but he doesn't. He works for a living. So you got to respect that, folks. You know, he actually works for a living. So, well, for streaming tonight, let's take a look and see. He'll probably stream later because he's been playing a lot of Street Fighter 6. I actually tuned in and he was getting his cheeks busted there. That's for sure. Well, Justin, your entire body is an electromagnet. Our body runs by electricity. That's how our body runs. It's by electricity. That's why with a defibrillator you can shock your heart back up. Because that's how our body functions. Our bodies function with electricity. It is Weapon X, but like I said, it's the most studied thing. It's been studied for millennium. But there's never been an actual answer as far as to why we dream. I would say I've dreamed in color and in black and white. You know, Rick Ross, I wanted to bring that up. I don't know why he's charging so much damn money for that food. I mean, he's literally charging $5 for a soda, and one of his food plates are like $45 and $50. So I guess part of it is to see Rick Ross, but I can eat at home and save the money. I'm not, I think his car show would be all right, but he needs to drop the prices on that food. That's for sure. KCB, chances are he probably will, but the way he's getting beaten, what I expect is he's going to throw down and he's going to have a temper tantrum while playing video games. Well, Michael, that's better than nothing, Janoy doesn't have to work. If he does 2 days, 1 day, that's still respectable. He's disabled and he's working, And you have to also remember people that are disabled, they're their employers. I would suspect the supermarket limits the amount of work he can actually do. Anyone that's disabled can only work so long. Can you get Prime in Canada? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Justin. You'll need to be more specific. 25,000 a car. Oh gosh. Yeah, Rick Ross crazy. Do I think Vegan Gains weighs too much? I think he's gained a lot of weight. I mean, he's gained a ton of weight, so. And because he gets so uncomfortable every time someone asks him about his weight, I think it's time for him to slim down. So Psycho, I don't recall any dream to where that happens. Like I said, I only recall certain dreams because I've dreamed it numerous times. Everything else, for the most part, I never really remember my dreams. I hardly remember my dreams. I don't even remember what I dreamed about last night, I really don't. But I can always tell if I'm dreaming. The reason being is the one thing you can't do when you're dreaming is read. You cannot read words. The reason being is because that side of the brain that has the dreams is different from the side where you can read and write. So anytime you need to know whether you're dreaming or not, that's if you remember dreaming. You can try reading a book, and you should not be able to read the words or anything. That's one thing that I can confirm about dreaming. You can't read while dreaming. You can't read words. Genova wouldn't be allowed to drive. I don't. That really all depends. If he passes his driving test, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to drive. I really wouldn't. You remember reading your blood pressure in your dreams? You probably couldn't read the numbers. That's the thing. You would know what you're doing, but you should not be able to read in your dreams. It's impossible. You can't read because the functioning part of the brain that allows you to read is not the same as the dreams. Me and Mike Quinn did not get along. We had a falling out maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. He said a lot of racist stuff to me. We were having some sort of political argument, and he called me a bunch of names. But I don't want to piss on someone's grave or anything like that. But other than that, he was part of that renegade group of people that left the IFBB, went to the WBF. That's what most people remember him for. They remember him as a rebel, same as David Dirth and everything. So, but like I said, I'm not going to piss on his grave or anything like that or get into any details. But that's the most I'm going to say. He said a lot of racist things at me. But, that was a long time coming. So, well, if they ever made a time machine a fun side quest, would be willing to pay off a doctor to test new. It would be very dangerous to invent a time machine. Very dangerous. But eventually, maybe in 1,000 years, we probably will have a time machine. I think generally speaking, and this is just my theory, the way we're going to travel to other galaxies and planets is we're going to do space bending. In other words, I think I think in certain terms we have a misconception as far as travel time. So right now, whenever you get into a car, we travel like 20 miles. We have to physically drive there. There's a distance, in other words. But with space, on the other hand, we just put the two together. You're still at that same. You're still in the same location. Sort of like a spring, in other words, to where you're here, you are here, and the distance is here. And rather than driving here, you bend it. Whoop, whoop. And you're at that space just in a matter of moments. Why is that coming up? I think that's the way we're going to travel to other universes, but, I won't be around to see that. That's just my theory of things. Thanks for the score update there, Justin. I love Matarazzo. He was a cool guy. But, if you ever listen to him, he explained how he had his heart problems. 5 pounds of ground beef and taking stuff that, the amount of drugs he was taking was just horrendous. But he was a pretty cool guy. You see him at the expo, he always had a smile on his face. Always said hey to everyone. That's why he was one of the fan favorites. I never met Edgar before. I've seen him at expos, but I never introduced myself to him. Well, when I was growing up there, I did want to be an astrophysicist at one time. The problem is, as smart as I am, I didn't have the aptitude to be a physicist. But in another time I could have been an astronomer, but I had more interest. But I still study the stars. I mean, astronomy for me is more of a hobby rather than. I don't think I ever mentioned to you guys that astronomy is part of my hobbies. Studying space and everything. But I never made it as a life mission or a job. Sometimes you can have an interest in a subject, but you may not make a career out of it. You would just instead make it as a hobby. And astronomy is sort of a hobby of mine. Quick Pump, Edgar competed in an era to where there were so many awesome bodybuilders out there that he just never won. My ex-husband was in astrology, but no, I never got into astrology. Am I gonna watch The Boogeyman? No. I don't like horror films. Greg Valentino, yeah, we're pretty cool now and everything. We weren't always that way because he was good friends with Derek Anthony. But he's an alright guy. A lot of these guys, I think Greg now is recognizing that, he's aging as well as John. I mean, I think he turns like 63 in about a month or so if he's not already 63. Neil Tyson, he's an awesome guy. They tried to get him for some with that Me Too movement. They tried to do that to a lot of people there. But they decide. I'm glad that they decided to leave him alone and quit lying about him and everything. But he's a smart guy. You can learn a lot from him. But yeah, that's how I think we're gonna travel to the universe. We're gonna just bend space rather than just physically travel there. A lot of things on Star Trek are based upon, actual scientific stuff, at least to an extent. You can't be friends with your friends' enemies. Yeah, you can. It's always possible. Yep. We will travel to other planets and other universes, and we'll do it in a snap. I've never watched that film there, Quick Pump. Yeah, I've never heard of Judgment Night. I've watched Judgment Day before, so. Let's see what Judgment Night was about. It could have been a movie that I actually watched, and I just don't remember it. No, I definitely never watched this one. Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr. Looks like it had a good lineup, you know. Well, yes, Janet Jackson was cute in Poetic Justice. She was cute in Good Times, too, you know. Yeah, he is a fat person there, social. Apple's new VR product is $3,500. They can kiss my ass, you know. Besides, I already have VR. I mean, people need to look around and look at real life instead of having their heads in virtual reality. You know, we have problems in this country, and I think these VR headsets are trying to get away from our country's problems. You know, but $3,500, screw that. You know, I can get my dick sucked like 35 times from a high class hooker, and if I want, you know. Probably get some cheek too, you know. $3,500 is a lot of money for a headset. Yeah, I went to the movies to watch Juice. That was quite an interesting movie. I've never seen Contact before. Well, Warfare, don't forget I worked at Verizon, and one of the first things I did in a couple months is I tested out Verizon's VR headset. I thought it was pretty cool. It had a bunch of applications, so I did a couple of things, but again, my whole reasoning is that we need to concentrate more on the problems that we have here in America, rather than virtual reality. That's just my thing. But in terms of Apple's VR technology, I'm sure it's pretty awesome, but the price has got to come down on it in comparison to other VR headsets. Vegan Gaines always wants to kill himself. Goldberger, I've never seen the movie Contact before. Justin, everyone's up on rape charges these days. They're trying to charge Bill Cosby again for something that he supposedly did in 1967. That's what I hate about California's look back law, It's not really fair to, how far are we going to go back, really? You know what I mean? There's a reason that there's a statute of limitations. There really is. And this is just getting out of hand at this point. They even tried to prosecute Michael Jackson like 10 years after he died. to get a hold of the estates. Our country's really screwed up whenever, and the thing about it is Bill Cosby definitely was a piece of shit and everything like that. But what kind of president does it set up to where you can go to trial for something that happened like 50 some years ago? Really. How would you be able, and the thing about it is he got convicted of the other one to where it supposedly happened in 1974. How the heck is a jury going to know exactly what happened, almost 50 years ago? I mean, and when I say 50, I mean 50. I wasn't even born in 1974, It's just insane. Well, KCB, Tupac at least got out what he needed to get out. I mean, you have to understand he was under contract, so he was trying to put out as much music as he could to get out of that Death Row Records contract. That's why he put out so much music. He was trying to get out of that Death Row contract. Tupac was one of the very few West Coast rappers that I actually liked. Of course, I'm still with B.I.G. Why charge Bill again? His life is basically already over. It all has to do with money, Ice Monkey. It always has. Always will. They literally railroaded him in that trial, and subsequently he did 3 years in prison. 3 years. Like I said, Bill Cosby's a piece of shit, and everything, and he did probably rape some of those women and everything, but at the same time, here's the thing, folks. The black community allowed him to be railroaded, and that same methodology is going to be used on other black men and white folks and stuff. Literally. Black community allowed Bill Cosby to get lynched. That trial was a straight up lynching. That's why those niggas can fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. Y'all gotta excuse me, I gotta take a piss. Eazy-E was a businessman. For Eazy-E, there wouldn't be any NWA because he's the one that financed the whole thing. He's the one that got Jerry Heller. So, he was a pretty good rapper. He wasn't the greatest rapper of all. You couldn't put him on par with Pac and Biggie. But Eazy-E, he was around because he had the money. He was the neighborhood drug dealer. He was the top cheese. He's the one that financed the whole NWA to begin with. There wouldn't be no NWA. There wouldn't be no Ice Cube, no Dr. Dre without no Eazy-E. That's a fact, folks. If your daughter was the girl in 64, you'd agree. Well, of course, absolutely, social. But there's a reason why there's a statute of limitations because, the thing about it is it would be circumstantial evidence. A person has no real chance to actually prove himself as being innocent. Not only that, how in the world is Bill Cosby going to remember meeting someone like in 1964, like almost 60 years ago? Well, Justin, that's why Canada. That's one of the reasons why Canada's so fucked up. I mean, I got a lot of friends in Canada, but it's a giant liberal shithole. You know. But at least y'all got free health care. We don't have that around here, so. They sent Bill Cosby to jail because the black community allowed him to get lynched, you know. They allowed him to get hung from a tree. We should have taken care of that like Tony Soprano. We should have kept that internal. We supposed to wash our own laundry when it comes to stuff like that. Like I said, I've known Bill Cosby as being a rapist for like 20 years. It's the same with R. Kelly. I mean, R. Kelly of all people. And we know that. I mean, when it came to R. Kelly, I mean, we know the nigga can sing. But when you're on a video camera peeing on a little girl and everything like that, and you don't get convicted, what's going on? With that. You know what I'm saying? Really. And we already knew what was going on with Bill Cosby since the 80s. If you ever see the Cosby Show episode, look up Cosby Show barbecue sauce. Look up. I want y'all to look up Cosby Show and barbecue sauce. Look that up on YouTube, and he's actually giving you the indication as far as exactly what he did. Psycho, would you really remember everyone? Would you remember, even if you didn't, even if, let's say he didn't do it, how's he going to prove that he didn't do it? That's why there's statute of limitations for. Because after 60 years, information's going to get kind of wonky. And part of our Constitution is a person has a right to a speedy trial, and be allowed to actually appropriately defend himself. How in the world are you going to defend yourself from a charge from like 60 years ago or 70 or 80 years ago? How far is that going to go? Yeah, they treat the Aboriginals kind of bad in Canada. Exactly. The nigga can sing. But I mean, someone that goes and pees on a little girl and stuff like that, and it's on camera, folks. It is on videotape. On videotape. Yeah, it took another 10 years for him to get prosecuted. Like, we finally caught him. No, we caught him years ago. They did a Boondocks episode on the guy, Literally. Black community's priorities are just wrong. Wrong. Well, Lamar, so can Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter was a great rock star. But we all know about Gary Glitter, right? Just because someone can sing and dance don't make him a great person. We've had a lot of shit. We had a lot of shit people, especially actors, and stuff that have done horrible things. Chris Benoit was a great wrestler. Probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yet he did a very horrific crime. What about the basketball players? I mean, that Patriots player, Hernandez. Ray Caruth from the Panthers. I've been drinking coffee now that I feel tired. Well, you better stay awake because we got 2 hours left. At 10 o'clock, folks, we're going to start doing reactions to videos, okay? Hey, OG, how you doing there today? Because this is a 3-hour show, folks. I just need you to let you guys know. Well, that is true, Lamar, but that's that's generally not the point when it comes to these You know, a person has a right to a speedy trial. You know, uh, 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 anyone that's a defendant has a right to have a timetable as far as to when he's prosecuted. With the only exception would be murder, but anything else other than that, mm-mm. Oh yeah, you know, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, Justin, Canadian pharmacies were all the rage. Do I ever want children? Nah, well, it's not possible for me to have children, obviously. Adoption would be the next best thing, if anything. But if I was going to adopt a kid, I would have to have someone with me, partner wise here, or I could probably take care of the kid myself. But right now, I don't have the desire to have any, adopt a kid or anything. But that thing that can actually change at any point in time. That's not entirely the case here. If you have a child, if you adopt a kid, for example, and they're already like 10 or 12, I mean, how much freaking work do you have to do? You know what I mean? Yeah, if no matter how much I fuck another man's ass, no baby's gonna pop out of it. Despite what the lamestream media wants, men cannot get pregnant. That's another thing. Why is there a controversy and people are getting upset when someone like me goes and says men cannot get pregnant? I mean, what the fuck is that they're all about? Seriously. But in any event, if I was gonna have a kid, I mean, I would adopt a kid, obviously. What does Canada have against DHEA? Who knows? But our country has no room to talk because we have an issue against ephedra. Ephedra in like 20 years. You know, it's just the laws. I mean, do they allow same two parent gender adoption? Oh, absolutely. There's a bunch of them. And then there's even single gay dads that are adopted. You have to understand there's hundreds of thousands of kids in orphanages and stuff, Pugman, and it keeps increasing every year. So they got to do what they can to have adoptions. It's I don't want to get too much in the system and everything, but yeah, as long as a person passes the test and are willing to take care of the kid, why not? It's definitely better than being stuck in an orphanage. That's not a good experience for a child whatsoever. Everyone deserves someone to love them, Pugman, to take care of them. As far as a child is concerned, a child should grow up with some group of parents, even if it isn't their parent, their biological parents. That's my opinion on it. $29 for hashish. I don't know what the retail price is in America. So right now, I'm not even in a position social to adopt any child whatsoever. Are you turned on by butthole? No, it's just a. It's just my thing. I don't. I try not to. What's the best way to say it there? It's just one of the. It's a sexual attraction to things here. That's the one thing I don't understand too much. I know what sexuality is all about, but I don't understand the biological nature of things per se. Either that or I've just not researched it or so. But I just, Pug Man, I just do what I do. If I feel like pounding another man's ass, I'll do that. I'm just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. I mean, I like a good pair of cheeks. I mean, I like women's titties too. But I'm still gay, of course. But I like a good set of breastises. I would if I was to adopt a kid, I would definitely take care of him or her. That's the job of a parent. Honestly, for all these people that speak about pro life and everything like that, with all the kids that are to be adopted, they need to get some skin in the game and start adopting a child themselves. But getting back to what you said, Pugman, I think it's just instinctive and animalistic behavior that human beings are attracted to sexual body parts. Even gay men are gonna be somewhat attracted to a vagina, because we see it and it's representing of a sexual part. When you see that or so. That's just my opinion on it. Do you think people are both gay born? People don't choose to be gay. That I can definitely tell you. As far as the biological nature of it, I'm not a biologist or anything like that. Definitely not a choice. Who would? I want you guys to think about it for a minute. Who would choose homophobia, discrimination, all that stuff? Really. It's not being gay is not the same as being black. So a person that's gay can easily hide being gay. They can go and get married and everything like that. So what people choose is people choose not to people choose to hide their sexuality. That's the only choice they actually have. But ultimately, in the end, I think the biological nature of sexuality will win out. Or maybe not if they're a priest or something. But in life, folks, you don't have to understand or give an explanation for everything. My ultimate answer to whether people are born gay, I don't know. I really don't. I pretty much knew I was gay whenever I was around, maybe when I was in the first grade or so. I had an indication of it. But whether someone's actually born gay or not, I don't know. I really don't. Sometimes it's just better if you don't know an answer just to say, I don't know. That's the thing about workplaces. A lot of people are too afraid to say, I don't know to their employer because they feel embarrassed. Folks, if you don't know something, just simply say, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the problem sometimes with Vegan Gains. When someone asks him a question, he always tries to come up with an answer no matter whether he has the actual experience or know-how about it. He'll still answer the question as if he's an expert, and that's why he ends up looking like a dumbass. Should McChrystal start out with an Asian dude before? Justin, come on. Is being gay a result of sexual trauma? No, it isn't. That I can definitely tell you. Was not raped when I was a kid whatsoever. Some people also say, and some of my family thought that it was because I didn't have a father figure and stuff in my life, and that's just not true neither. There's plenty of people that have had nuclear families, have gone to church and done everything like that, and they were at the business end of my cock at the end of the day. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. But at the end of the day, as far as being born or so forth, I have no idea. But generally speaking, people eventually figure out what their sexuality is at any given age. Can you get fired before leaving without notice during your shift? Well, I mean, in South Carolina, you can get fired for any reason or no reason. So it depends on what state you're actually in, Protein Bra. All right, folks, we got 40 minutes left. Get your questions in, and then we're going to start reviewing some videos. Yeah, Protein Bra, it's dependent upon your well, you'll have to look at the laws in Texas, but probably Texas would be the same as South Carolina to where you can get fired for any reason or no reason. I mean, if you get fired, they're probably doing you a favor, to be honest with you. Just like when they got rid of me at Verizon, they did me the best favor of all. Raw meat consumption. I've had steak tartare, but that's the furthest I'll go to eating raw meat. You definitely want to make sure that it's prepared by an expert and make sure that the meat is good. And is not spoiled or anything, or is just well packaged there. You definitely don't want to eat hamburger meat, for example, something that's chopped up. My weekly training routine is just 3 full body workouts a week. And that's it. And then I'll do a little bit of cardio in the morning. I have an AK-60. Do me a favor. I was able to develop my businesses. Got away from the hubbub, and it gave me an opportunity to do other things as well. I needed a vacation from work, but the biggest thing is I've developed my businesses even more, and I've had time to take care of a bunch of stuff. So, like I said, they did me a favor. Ever been attacked walking home? Yes, I've been attacked while walking home before. They got the shit beat out of them, but yeah. Yeah, I've not played Diablo since like 1997 at least. But I heard the Diablo 4 game has been pretty good. I've been catching up on Dr. Lupo's live stream. He's been streaming for like 10 or 11 hours a day, literally. The guy's an animal. Has been streaming. I think he's like at level 70 at this point. But yeah. Diablo, I like Diablo whenever I was playing it back in the day. So, Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And that in Street Fighter 6. I already knew Street Fighter 6 would be popular. I'm kind of surprised. Well, I shouldn't really be surprised at Diablo being popular. You know, I really shouldn't. I never got into the Final Fantasy games. I had a friend of mine, Terry, that played it at work when I did security work. It's kind of a shame. That was the last time I had actually seen him. He was playing on. He had a. He had a. What did he have? He had one of those Game Boy Advances to where he could play Final Fantasy. And he got into a really bad car accident to where he didn't have his seatbelt on, flew out the window, got ran over by two cars, and that was the end of old Terry. So, but I never got into those Final Fantasy games. That's been like a little over 20 years ago. Nice guy. Well, Lamar, I would have to get a computer. I would have to get a graphics card for my computer in order to play Street Fighter. And I don't know. I mean, my router should hold up to it, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't be able to stream and do that at the same time. I would have to just play directly. I've heard of low tier God. There's a lot of these gaming streamers that just go wild at games and acts crazy and rages. That's how Richard got banned from Twitch from raging and threatening to cut Repsion's throat and everything. I beat the original Metal Gear. I played Metal Gear Solid for PS1, and I think I got like 3/4 of the way. But then I just stopped playing it because it was my friend's PS1. So the only Metal Gear game I beat was the first one, and that was it. Took me a while to beat it too. How long did it take me to beat Metal Gear? It took me at least a month to beat Metal Gear. I actually liked that game. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it took me long because, there was a lot of stuff. I had trouble with the tank. I couldn't figure it out until finally I figured out that if I got a bunch of landmines that I would blow up the tank. Metal Gear has always been a pretty solid franchise, so it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I definitely, if they're making another Metal Gear 3, I'm looking forward to it. Just seeing the game itself. Chances are I probably won't play it or anything. Of course, with the router, the only thing I would need to do is buy a graphics card, and I'd be into gaming. I mean, I definitely got a fast enough computer. Pugman, I'm not gonna buy the Apple glasses. They're just too expensive. You know, they're like $3,500. I can't see myself investing $3,500 in a set of VR glasses. I think there would be a much better use of that money than buying VR glasses. I know, Lamar. I know. One thing that if I was going to do something like that, I would actually buy a game system instead and actually use that to actually stream the game as opposed to just putting in a graphics card. A graphics card would be cheaper, you know. It would just really depend. What are the system requirements for Street Fighter 6? Hang tight. Windows 10, iCore 5, memory 8 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, I got all the requirements. This one does have an i5 in it, so I meet the minimum requirements. I would have to turn down I would definitely have to turn down the resolution, but I could actually play Street Fighter. The only thing I would need is a graphics card, and that would be it. I think that would be like $150 for it. But the biggest thing I would have an issue with is, I got a pretty strong router. I would just have would have an issue. It may be too many resources between streaming and playing the video game itself. Yeah, Dr. Lupo, that's one of the channels I'll watch on the live stream. He streamed a 6-hour video like 4 hours ago. He's going to get back on the stream in pretty soon. So, like I said, that guy's an animal. That's all he does is just play video games all day. Oh yeah, Lamar, I did see your Diablo 4 video. I almost forgot to tell you. Although I'm not sure why it's reading one view. That's kind of odd. Canada has top tier hoes. I've never looked at the women in Canada. I would assume they look pretty much the same as here in America. Who is that person, Lamar? Or is it a business? I'm not familiar with that. Top tier ready like littles. Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying. All right, we got 30 more minutes left for questions, and then we're gonna do some reaction videos. Hey, Eddie, how you doing there? Yeah, now I recall what it was, Lamar. Sometimes it takes me a while to get a hold of something. Yeah, I have the same issue, Eddie, down here. That's why I'm not smoking a cigar tonight. Although I've been kind of light on cigars lately. Just little cigarettos. Oh yeah, I watched Pokemon for like 4 or 5 years at least. It's a good show. I mean, I think it recently ended. I'll tell you one thing. That's a one thing that a workplace would really want. A 13-year-old kid with 23 years of work experience. Lamar, people do that just to do it, man. There's a guy down in Texas that runs a furniture shop. He always puts a bunch of money up there. The show is still going, but Ash's story ended. So I guess they got a new character now. That needed to end a long time ago. I wonder what happened to Team Rocket. I know they've been chasing that Pikachu for like 20 some years. There's been nothing new about Leo as of late. They're still investigating. I've not heard anything. Eventually, it's going to close. That's what will happen eventually. The Leo case will be solved. Well, maybe Vegan Gains is taking my advice and is not streaming tonight. That's a good thing. He doesn't need to stream tonight. He doesn't need to stream every night. Well, some investigations do. It's an unusual case because I mean, the thing about it is that if no one's talking, it's kind of the thing about it is it's kind of unusual. I think the issue is that whoever did it, anyone that was witness to it, is probably too afraid to to talk essentially. Because I mean, Doctor Huge's house is pretty big. So I'd be hard pressed that someone wouldn't notice someone going into that house and going out. And I mean, I'm not. And Tony Huge should have had cameras in a house that size. So it's just weird all over. Lamar, a lot of meth towns here in America. You know why we have? Do you know why drugs are so prominent? Because we don't have proper health care for mental issues. You know, we don't take care of our vets. That come home, so they have to go to alternatives. I mean, the biggest thing about drugs, for them, it's a temporary way of getting away from their life's pains or issues. Uh-oh. What the hell happened? Another shooting. Huh. I just got an alert on my phone. 7 people shot during high school graduation. Oh, geez. 2 killed, others injured. Who opens fire at a high school graduation? That's crazy. That's kind of sad, too. I wish all the best. I hope the people that are injured recovered. That's horrible. Jeez. We'll just need to get a control of a couple things here, you know. I think the biggest thing we have to take care of, and I was just talking about mental health and everything. All of that is because our healthcare system doesn't take care of mental health, you know. I guarantee if Richard wasn't in Canada and he was in America, he would have already shot up the place, literally. I kid you not. But 7 people, it seems like we have 2 or 3 shootings every single week. You know, and that's kind of sad. I mean, one of the people from what I'm reading right now that got killed, he just graduated. Can you imagine that? You're beginning to start adulthood and it's just cut down, you know? It's kind of weird. Do I think it's worse now before with internet and drugs? Well, Eddie, you have to remember throughout time, there's always been bad and good. It's going to always balance out, in other words. Think about it for a minute. You know, 1950s, I would have to, if I drunk out of the wrong water fountain or whistled at a white woman, you know, I'd get strung up from a tree, you know. 1800s, slavery, you know. 1600s, you know, I mean, they're serfs and stuff, you know, no technology. You had to go hunt for your own food and everything. I think ultimately things are a lot more. I have to compare myself in the 90s to today. You know, there's some things that I would prefer that I had in the 90s. But on the other hand, you know, like I'll give you an example. Last night, I forgot to go to the grocery store and I was in bed. You know, I just went on my cell phone, did a Walmart delivery, punched all my stuff in. You know, I wake up in the morning, I have my groceries. I couldn't do that like 30 some years ago. But I think at the same time, the internet has brought out the worst in people, you know. And because we now have easier access to guns to where, you know, 30 years ago you wouldn't see so many gun shootings. The reason being is because people had to pay cash for those guns. Nowadays you can put, you know, you can get guns no money down, you know. Basically you can get guns for no money down. No credit check or anything. And a person that's going to shoot up the place, what are they going to need to pay for? They're only going to use it once and they will commit suicide or get killed by the police. That's the reason why we have more shootings now than before. That's one of the main reasons. Number one, people have easier access to the guns, not just by laws, but just by financing, literally. You used to have to pay full price for guns, now you don't. Hello, barbecue sauce. Welcome to the show. In about 15 minutes, we're going to review a couple videos here, so. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Doop, 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 doop. And I know just where to start at. Not sure about the gun thing. People in other countries say we need gun control. Well, we need more than just gun control. We just need to stop doing this no money down financing for guns, and we need to take care of. We need to have free access to mental health issues for people, because you got to know these people that are doing all this are nutcases, and it's because of untreated medical conditions, mental issues. Hey, Angel, what's up? Yeah, I've updated a whole bunch of stuff. Websites. VinceGoodrum.com now has all of my videos auto updated, and I have a bunch of articles that are coming up. So, plus I'm working on another channel as well. So yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff. A Canadian telling me we need gun control with 300 million less people doesn't make sense to me. Well, Eddie, I don't think the number of people makes a difference, we have the highest per capita of murders with firearms than any other country. I mean, it's a serious problem here in America, to where you can't go into a grocery store or anything without risking getting shot up, or a kid can't even go to school without risking getting killed, I know one thing growing up there, when I went to Irwin High, the boys would just ride on the back. In the back of their truck, they would have their hunting rifles and stuff like that. The principal would go out, and gives them some tips on hunting. I mean, literally, we used to drive in the parking lots with guns hitched to the back of their trucks, And now look at it these days, seriously. It's just a sign of the times, folks, Nobody ever shot up Irwin. That's why I always say there's some things that are a lot better with technology, and other things have just gotten a lot worse. And I think our biggest issue really right now is just healthcare. Healthcare is really bad at this point. It would take a lot to control guns. Not really, it wouldn't. The laws would have to be passed. I mean, people thought it would be hard to get cigarettes, but Trump got, the law for cigarettes and tobacco pushed up to 20. You have to now be 21. The laws have to be. It would be hard to pass the laws, but they can be passed, and once they're passed, they have to be followed. Because it's not really so much as when it comes to gun control. It's not so much as the people buying them, it's the gun manufacturers and the people that sell guns. I think guns are sold very irresponsibly these days, Like I said before, I have a real problem with the no money down and no financing stuff. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Person can go get a free gun, literally. I'm definitely I'm pro Second Amendment, not pro gun, and there's a big difference, I'm not obsessed with guns. I've used firearms, my short time in the military, obviously I would handle an M60, an AR-15, and other weapons, grenades and everything. But I'm not obsessed with guns or anything. I am pro Second Amendment. I think it's important for us to have the right to bear arms, But I'm not pro-gun. I think that... what's the best way to describe it? As far as gun control is concerned, I don't think it should be at a point to where it's impossible to get a gun, but just some basic common sense. Things need to go back to the good old days where... you actually had to pay to get guns and stuff, It just really needs to get back to the good old days. Because 30 some years ago, you couldn't just walk in and just get a gun without nothing whatsoever. You may not have had to have ID, but you had to have money, literally. So I want you guys to think about it for a minute. Is it easier for a person that went and got, a shotgun back in 1990? They'd have to pay $800 or $900. $800 or $900 is a lot of money. Now you can go into a store, just sign your name. That's it. You get a gun, That's just it. There was also limited access as far as guns are concerned, but don't forget, people like Lee Harvey Oswald, and that's basically due to being a Marine, or that guy there was that guy from the clock tower, he had a bolt-action rifle and took out 15 people. But then again, he was a Marine, and U.S. Marines are like the ministers of death, So, you're pro lizard. My old neighbor tried to. Well, hope your older neighbor got locked up. That's not good. When I went to New Hampshire, everybody had a gun. I've never been to New Hampshire before, but I thought that was always a liberal state. I could be wrong about it. You just got to pass the laws here, Eddie. That's it. Gun manufacturers also need to not be so reckless into selling them, That's also leading to another issue to where, and here's the thing, folks, and this is why we got all these weird shootings to where kids are playing hide and seek and a guy goes and starts shooting at kids. Person turns around in someone's driveway and they kill them. And stuff like that. You want to know why that's happening? Because people that have invested so much money into these guns, they're just trying to find excuses to use their investment. They got all these guns sitting around, And they're thinking, I got all these guns. What am I going to do with them? And they see even the most obscene opportunity to use it, and they end up using it, you know? It's nuts, you know? That's why all that's happening is, and that's my opinion, is because all these guns are sitting around that people have not used there, you know, because they were sold these guns by these manufacturers. They kept promoting and prospering like, you need a gun, protect America, buy more guns, buy as many guns as you want, buy, more, you know. To the point to where they made people obsessed with buying guns and more guns, and people got 30, 40, 50 guns. Now you bought all these guns, you spent up all your money, tens of thousands of dollars, you got them all sitting around. You got nothing to do with them. So you're going to find any little opportunity to use those guns, no matter how minor it is. Literally. That's why I'm kind of scared walking around these days. I mean, shoot. It's like you look at someone wrong, and next thing you know, they may end up blasting you, you know. That's why I said, folks, you got to be careful out there. You know, people are nuts, you know. You always got to watch your back, you know. That's the thing, Ice Monkey. Even the slim chances or no chances, they want to use their guns. They want to use what they invested all their money into, you know, literally. Yeah, Eddie, there's a number of businesses that have no money down, no financing for guns. You would have to look at as far as gun deaths are concerned, you'd have to look at the FBI statistics. All right, folks, I'm going to grab something here real quick. It's going to be 10 o'clock. We're going to review some videos, okay? So stay tuned, folks. All right, folks. Time to get hour 2 in. Folks, time to review. So let's get the screen all set. Doop, doo, doop, doo. Y'all ready to have a good time? I mean, I was a marksman in the Army, so I mean, and ROTC sharpshooter, so I mean, I could shoot pretty good. So haven't shot in a while, but you know, you never forget how to shoot, folks. You know, all you got to do is center, you know, and make your adjustments on your rifle, and then that's it. The biggest thing about shooting, folks, is making the adjustments on the rifle. And then you're fine. All right, we're going to start with Frank Tufano. Let's see what dumbass has to say. Probably nothing good. All right. We're all set.
Are you guys ready to get boned by Frankie's Serious Meats for Pride Month? Because I've been getting boned ever since I started this business, so I might as well.
No, Frank, you've not been getting boned since you started the business. You've been getting boned ever since you did fucking X hamster sticking dildos up your ass. So I don't know what you're talking about, pal.
So have some fun with it. Honestly, I wanted to give away sausages for Pride Month. I thought that would be funnier. You know, maybe a little immature, maybe a little juvenile. Sausages for Pride Month. Kind of silly. But we did not have enough sausages. We would have ran out in like a week.
By the way, folks, in case y'all wanted to know, I have Orcos 000. I eat this at night, folks. Helps me sleep.
So we will be doing a Marrow Bones giveaway for the month of June, in addition to our, moving sale, which is 50% off orders over 500, and we also have 25% off of all glandular products, the testicles, the ovaries, adrenals, all that good stuff. I do want to apologize, guys.
Marrow Bone's pretty good. Again, that's the thing about Frank. I don't know why he sells things like testicles and stuff there, I'm not eating a cow's balls or sacks or anything like that.
Forgot to bring down my camera and microphone, so we're just filming this on the iPhone, so any background noise, I'm trying my best.
Excuse me, I have to go around, right?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the street. Yeah, so it's not going to say it on the website, but when you guys place an order moving forward, we're going to throw in like 1 or 2 packages of the pipe cut marrow bones, which is 2.5 pounds of free marrow bones with the order. I think that's over a $20 value. So we're really just giving meat away at this point, honestly. Who's even getting paid more, right?
Got a technical background, looking to go remote and get paid more? Become a software.
Gee, I hate these ads.
But we do have a few restocks and some exciting things for you guys this week, which is why I'm filming the vlog. So we got a lot of egg orders that we packed up today. Got the meat orders over here, meat orders, a lot of orders, and we have some more to do.
Yeah, looks like he needs to clean up a little bit.
Over there. This is our main new product this week. We are offering a new salt on both Frankie's Free Range Meat and Frankie's Free Range Foods.com. This is
Australian sea salt. Let's take a look at Frankie's website and see how much he charges for. How much does he charge for salt? That's curious. Salt. $6 for salt. That's not too bad, but I don't see anything special about Australian sea salt. I mean, regular sea salt's just perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm banned from Frank Tufano's YouTube channel as well. But what's so special about Australian sea salt? I mean, now one thing that gets on my nerves really is free of modern contaminants. That's BS. Salt is salt, folks. Folks, there's no such thing as contaminants in salt. It's just ridiculous. Alright, back to the video.
Just a plain white salt. Finally found something with an excellent purity that does come from the ocean. So since it's in a non-polluted area, oh perfect, all the freezer just turned off, so now it's nice and quiet. So this comes from a non-polluted ocean, and it is also ran through a purity filtration system. So very, very high quality salt.
Yeah, I agree with you, KCB, but you know, normally he'll price things like salt at like $20, so for him to price it in some sort of range is very surprising, but oh well.
For everything, seasoning you eat, baking, marinades, all that stuff. Pretty cool label. Guy did a nice job designing it. A lot of new things these past few months, guys. We got the artichoke spreads on Frankie's Strange Foods, also the wild flower and orange honey, which you guys have been buying a lot of. We restocked the vanilla chocolate and berry best bars last week, and all of the biltong and meat bars are back in stock if you guys have been missing those. In addition, my guys were able to make some more pemmican and quinoa crisp bars, but we're still waiting on the label.
I don't know why he sells pemmican for. I mean, he seems to sell a lot of pemmican, but pemmican is more or less a travel food, you know. Something to where if you're out on the range and you're camping or so, you would use something like pemmican. But that's like some 1800 stuff, you know, really. But, oh well.
For those. We'll jump over here first today just to show you guys the dairy and the eggs. This is all the sheep milk that we have to throw out.
Yeah, now we're going to get to the complaining part.
Unfortunately, maybe we do have to get that ice cream machine. This is probably... We do have to get that ice cream milk that we have to throw out. Unfortunately, maybe we do have to get that ice cream.
You know, Frank really doesn't need to throw it out. He just needs to process that milk. I mean, there's a number of things he can do with it. He can make cheese out of it and stuff, so... Waste not, want not. As long it doesn't look like it's spoiled as of yet, but he should convert that.
Machine. This is probably $200 worth of sheet milk. Unfortunate. And the rest of the stuff in the fridge is all the fresh dairy that we just got in this week. We got some milk, butter, yogurt. For the most part, guys, all the dairy products are available on the website. The butter this week looks even darker. I'll show you a clip I took when it came in last week. And also the fresh beef is excellent. That's the tough part about carrying milk. You know, these other dairy products are like super fresh for a while, but the milk goes bad within a week, week and a half. So just because no one wanted sheep milk this week, we're basically out $200. So.
Well, Frank, it's milk and then you're going to have to ship it. So between the time of shipping and milk, yeah, it's more than likely that it's going to spoil. I don't seem to get why you would sell something like milk. He should really stick with just selling regular meats. Something that lasts long enough to where he can actually sell and ship it.
Again, the ice cream machine's expensive, but we might just have to get it because over time it'll eventually pay itself back. Yeah, we do have some of the fresh beef shares available this week. So this might be the last time that you guys are going to have it for a little while. So make sure if you guys do want to place the order that you do ASAP right now. We're kind of cutting back on the lemon.
Quick Pump, you shouldn't buy anything from Dollar Tree, especially something like salt. Don't buy anything from Dollar Tree, folks. No, I wouldn't date Frank Tufano.
Kefir, the water kefir stuff, it's a lot of work, guys. So
yeah, what Frank needs to do is he needs to sell something like powdered milk instead. You know, I used to sell eggs, folks, and I sold powdered egg powder. I never sold fresh eggs. Now, my grocery store that I own, I do sell fresh and frozen, but you know, I got my shit together better than Frank, so.
We're just gonna have a small, limited amount of lemon water kefir available. Most of the fresh beef is sold, but we still have a few packages left in here for this week. Ground beef looks really good, super fresh. I've been eating this the past few days. Oh, that looks delicious. The fresh roast beef this week. I'm gonna bring some home for lunch and dinner, probably for the next 3 days. I will bring the prime rib back next week. Hopefully we're gonna cut it thick like a prime rib, though. We're not gonna slice it thin. I think it'll be a little nicer. Yeah, we're trying to keep the dairy sales going, but you know, when they're so expensive and some people like picking up the dairy locally, we have to figure out what we want to do. So in the freezer real quick, I think the main thing this week is we restocked some chicken. We got our 8-ounce filet mignon tenderloin steak.
That's a lot of fat on that tenderloin. That is a lot of fat on that tenderloin. That can present an actual issue. I think it should be trimmed a little bit better.
Nicely portioned. Running low on this tenderloin stew meat. Finally kind of getting rid of it. We have it on sale.
Wes, we can check out Wes Watson's videos. We got plenty of time there, so.
Skirt steak just freshly restocked last week.
That right there, folks, that's way too much fat on that on that type of meat. I mean, fat, you have to have some fat on the meat there. That's where the flavor is, folks, but that is a lot of fat on that meat.
Here's the pork tenderloin that I couldn't find last week to show you guys, but I've been eating this as well. My diet right now is basically pork tenderloin and fresh beef. Veal liver is back too. Plenty of veal brains. I know you guys are missing them. For chicken organs right now, we just have the chicken feet and the chicken head.
In case you guys want to know what chicken feet will do, I mean, chicken feet would be pretty good in a broth if you're making broth or so forth. Chicken head, on the other hand, I've never cooked that. I've used chicken feet, folks, to make broth, but, you know, it's a really good, cheap way of making broth. But chicken head, I don't know any recipes for that. You never know, KCB, as far as maple syrup is concerned. I don't think it's going to go up. It might. Well, KCB, some of the stuff, actually, if he's purchasing natural products, then it's not going to have any coloring or anything like that in it, just like a grocery store item. So that's why his meat is definitely not going to look the same as something in a grocery store, and that's to be expected. That's one thing I will give him credit for, is that at least he's selling legitimate stuff. The question is he pricing it well? And I think he's overpricing some of his stuff in comparison to other competitive store locations.
I think the Amish farmer forgot to send them to us, the rest of the organs.
But I don't really have any issues as far as to what it looks like. It's not supposed to have any colorings or anything like that as far as to what he brags about.
We got plenty of chicken wings. These are the chicken.
Quick pump, you don't eat chicken feet. You throw it in a stock pot and you use it for broth. Chinese people will fry them up and everything, but if you're gonna have chicken feet, that's for making broth.
Chicken thighs, drumsticks. We got chicken breast over here. I'm gonna have him cut these in half next time. And then we have whole chicken as well. Something else that's completely new are these soup chickens. So our egg farmer basically has these birds that are no good after laying so much. They can't lay any more eggs, so we just butcher them into chicken. They have less meat. The breasts are a bit smaller, but they are much cheaper, about half the price of.
$6.50 a pound for soup chicken? What the heck? For soup chicken? That should be like $1.99 a pound. My God.
The regular chickens per pound. So it's a really, really good value if you guys have been trying to get corn and soy free chicken but haven't been able to afford it. I don't know what this Amish guy did. Like, he should have left them all whole. Some of them he cut some breasts. So we have some soup chicken breasts here. I guess some of the laying hens had larger breasts and he decided to do that. And I don't even know what this 6-pound chunk is. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, the Amish have been getting on my nerves, so to speak, to the point where I was about to drive to Kansas and buy a slaughterhouse over there. But I realized that would not be logistically possible.
You know, he's always talking about buying slaughterhouses and stuff. He ain't gonna buy no motherfucking slaughterhouse. So quit talking about that shit.
Able to clone myself. And here is our bone promotion. So these are the canoe cut marrow bones that you guys will be getting free with your order. As you can see, these are pretty big packages. This one's around 3 pounds. So you guys are getting like, $25, $30 value worth of grass-fed marrow bones with every order for free. We just have quite a bit of them here, and we don't want to have to move all this. We'll just get some more when we move. Yeah, we might lose a little bit of money, but it's kind of a safety thing too, because as the weather gets warmer, the more poundage of frozen product that you put in the order, there's less of a chance of one package going bad. And just one box of
Warfare, I think Frank has a combination of businesses that buy from him as well as regular people. That's just my opinion. Especially people that are in his proximity. That's probably what keeps him in business is him supplying other businesses and restaurants with product.
$300, $400, $500 worth of meat goes bad. That's 20, 30 orders worth of those marrow bones. So it's kind of worth it in that sense if adding those extra marrow bones to a few orders just saves us one of them. So I'm not too worried about it. But I think that's everything in the freezer for this week, guys. We did restock the collagen broth, and I'm going to try to get you guys some chicken broth too in the next week or two. Showed you guys the new stuff in the freezer. Showed you guys the sheep milk I'm pissed off I'm throwing out. I think for the most part we went over everything today, but as always I usually forget something. I guess I'll briefly touch on the other businesses. You guys know that we launched Giga Chad Gum a few weeks ago. I didn't really want to promote that too much on YouTube, more TikTok and other social media, but we'll figure with the shadow banning. Organ supplements.
Folks, do you ever notice how he talks about shadow banning and stuff like that? And like there's a big conspiracy. Talking over gum, Now, YouTube doesn't do shadow banning, but it doesn't promote content that it really disagrees with. That's one of the reasons why I'm starting another channel and stuff and keeping some of the business stuff separate from the comedy channel so it doesn't hurt one or the other.
We have everything in stock for the most part. We're kind of tapering out of the bovine powders now, and we might have a new kind of mastic related product in a few months on organ supplements, but it's not coming anytime soon. Same with the naturals. We might have a few new naturals products, but that's also 3-4 months away. And then Wi-Fi shielding, we will be restocking. You guys have been asking for the bed canopies.
What is it with this magnet Wi-Fi shielding? This is the just overpriced tinfoil hats and stuff. Crackpot.
Those should be back in July. Might have a new product, entirely new product too next month. Depends on how much time I have and whether or not it's a good product, and I think I want to launch it. Oh man, I forgot to make more jokes about Pride Month earlier, bro. Like, what's the deal? It's gay month, right? So like, if you guys didn't know what Pride Month is, everyone's supposed to be gay for a month. And if you're not gay during Pride Month, you're actually just gay in general. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense, at least for you. The funny thing is, folks, when someone jokes about being gay, chances are they're hiding their own internal feelings. Now, Frank, he seems to be making a lot of gay jokes, but the reason being is he's trying to cover up his own sexuality that he enjoys taking it up the ass. What's the proof? Well, you go to X Hamster, type in Frank Tufano, and you'll see him sticking dildos up his ass there, and all other sorts of talk. So he's an idiot.
Like, if you didn't act gay during Pride Month, then when it's not Pride Month, you're actually gay. Just trying to clarify that for you guys. So if you want to get boned by Frankie's Serious Meat for Pride Month, definitely place an order. It's pretty. Marketing genius, right? That's what they all say, huh? But you guys can go to Frank this.
Now, folks, there's nothing more gay than taking a picture like this, you know. If he wants to talk gay, I mean, that's, you know, he takes that picture itself there. That's not going to attract any women, folks. I'll tell you that right now. It just isn't.
Tufano.com, where you will see all of my interesting businesses, especially.
Oh, I love a veal parm sandwich there, Quick Pump. That's good stuff.
Frankie's Strange Meat and Frankie's Strange Foods, where we have that free promotion. You guys can get the 25% off the glandulars, and then if you want to place a large order to help us with the moving sale, you get 15% off orders over 500. Kind of nice today, a little cloudy, so I didn't go out and get some sun, but hopefully I don't have to kill myself and work too much, because I mean, it's like 2 o'clock right now. I've been up since 5 a.m. working, so I think my guys have it covered for the most part, even though we have a lot of orders this week. We should be able to get out everything and not get overloaded. But thanks again for joining, guys.
Yeah. Fuck you. Let's check out Wes Watson's video. Let's see. Read the room. Well, at least we ain't got to worry about ads with this one.
I just heard it. I mean, I just read it just now. And it was from my boy Chase, and it was...
Justin, that would be Earl Grey. That's why this show's called the Earl Grey Tuesday.
It sums up everything I've been feeling that you guys need lately. It said, I've met so many individuals that have read thousands of books, but these same motherfuckers couldn't read a room or a situation to save their fucking lives. Why don't you guys...
Well, this is going to be a start to an awesome video, you know. Let's see what he's got to say.
Get it. How are you going to be a good leader if you can't verbally articulate anything correctly, if you can't read a room, a situation, if you can't discern from two different fucking things? A lot of people probably couldn't even see the difference between me sitting like this and them sitting like this. So they try.
One thing is for sure, I wouldn't be making a video with my shirt off showing all my tats. And he's clearly doing this here in order to show off his arms. You know, folks, I'm not a big fan of Wes Watson. Anyone that glamorizes prison life is just a lame, you know. You guys hear about me working as a corrections officer, but you don't see me bragging about it or anything. It's just lame, you know. When you go to prison, you're going to prison for a crime that you committed against a person, usually. That you did harm to that person in some way, you know. You victimize someone. And your purpose of going to prison is to come out, make proper restitution, and live as a normal citizen. But there's nothing cool about going to prison, folks. Prison is prison. The food sucks, you know. You are locked in. You are incarcerated. You can't go where you want to go. You have to wake up whenever they tell you to wake up. Folks, don't go to prison.
And sit like this. Motherfucker, it don't look the same. Because guess what? You didn't put the fucking work in. We're not feeling your words. We're feeling the culmination of what you've created over your lifetime. That's why when Wes Watson takes the stage, it's nasty. I don't care if there was a bigger bodybuilder. He'd probably come out a bashful little bitch, all fucking looking at the floor. Because all he ever did was fight them weights. No real battles. Doesn't mean there's bodybuilders who...
Language, man. Language.
Have it. I'm just saying. The buffest guy, the richest guy, all the above. What did they do differently? When life came knocking, they ran to those vices. When life came knocking, they hid. They had baby little bitch, little pussy, little self-talk. They weren't like, fucking good, motherfucker. Because honestly, I got to such low points where I didn't have anything to lose. You guys have had stuff to lose your whole life out here. So like, as long as I still am able to have my house and my truck and like my girl and stuff, I've lost fucking everything. So many times it's crazy. So I don't even give a fuck about this. As long as I don't lose me.
If you didn't give an F about it, then why do you have it? And you lost things because you were a criminal. Yeah, Quick Pumpy does remind me of that old trailer park lady. That was what I was thinking myself, to be honest with you.
Motherfucker. The first person I heard say that was Grant Cardone. He said they could take it all, but I'd still have me.
That's a bunch of BS. If Greg Cardo lost every single penny, he would definitely have a problem with it. When you hear stuff like that, that's BS, you know. I get mad if I lose $100, you know. What is he talking about? And then he compares himself to Greg Cardo. I mean, get the hell out of here.
That is exactly what I talk about when I say who, not how, bitch. When I say who, not how, that's what I'm talking about. And the top people get it. You motherfuckers who are still not looking at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking how instead of who, you don't understand that 2023 fits that to a T. This is the age. This is the fucking age of audience. This is the age of information applied to a person who actually lived it, because there's plenty of people spouting that shit out. Motherfuckers are just able to pick who they feel it from. And the person they feel it from can get them to do it. See, we have an application issue, not an education issue. There's plenty of information. Who can get the individual to apply it? I can get you to apply it because I've lived it and I am it, I breathe it, and I show you that I do, so you can do it with me.
Okay, going to prison is not something that you can put on a resume for a job, folks. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, you've been in prison. Big freaking whoop. That's not a good thing, folks. It's not, you know, going to prison is going to prison there. It doesn't make it. People who go to prison usually are not smart enough to stay out of prison. Are not smart enough to get the attorneys, and always tries to do a public defender, you know. So living it and done it, you've lived it and done it because you went and victimized somebody else. You are, you know, whenever you commit a criminal activity, you know.
Me, motherfucker. It's not just like, do as I say, not as I did 30 years ago. Fuck all that. Do as I say, not as I do. That fucking is the stupidest shit that all these motherfuckers live. They're speaking about discipline, and you can tell right in their motherfucking arm there ain't no fucking discipline. I send people back their pictures. They tell me they want to be a coach or they're having trouble making money or something. I send them back their pic. I say, would you listen to this? Would you listen to this? Would you buy from you? I would buy from me. I would buy from me so fucking fast that it would blow your fucking mind. Why? I'm not selling some hack. Want to know what I'm selling? We're going to make you the best you in every way. We're going to make you the best speaker we fucking can. We're going to make you the best leader we fucking can. We're going to make sure you have the best energy, best ethics, the best morals. We're going to make you the best we can. So that's who they're learning from. The information is... The information...
Oh, by the way, folks, anybody that has an Apple computer is not a tough guy, you know. Real men use Windows computers. Usually when I see someone with an Apple computer, they're either a musician, unemployed, an artist, or all three.
Hire for attitude, train for skill. How do I make sure you have a good attitude to hire from if you're a coach under me? I make sure you're that motherfucker who had a good attitude on the worst fucking days. Not these best ones. I don't give a fuck how I feel. I'm taking the stage. I don't give a fuck how much sleep I had. I don't
Language. My gosh. Language.
give a fuck about any of that shit. It all lies on me. If I can't perform, then I'm a bitch. I don't give a fuck if I got no sleep, didn't eat shit, nothing went my fucking way, and my chick's leaving right before I go on stage. Trust me, that's happened. And I didn't fucking budge, bitch. Straight up. Straight the fuck up. Everything that could have tried to stop me tried to. That's what I take most pride in. That's what you guys need to take most pride in. But when something tries to stop you, you stop, motherfucker. That's the difference. Every time something comes to stop you, you fucking stop. I fucking don't. Want to know why? Because I told you guys that I wouldn't. I told you guys I wouldn't. And you guys never let me down. Because every morning, some of you guys are in my DMs, and every day, a lot of you guys are in my comments and my stuff, and they're like, he don't miss. That's the only answer. Don't miss.
There's a million more motivational speakers that you can live by than someone that's been in the penitentiary. Well, actually, KCB's kind of entertaining. And since he's already said so many F words, my video is going to be limited anyway, so we may as well listen to the rest of it. I find him very entertaining. Very cheeky little fella.
And have the right blueprint. So if you're someone out there who's not missing, or you're not getting anywhere, your blueprint is flawed. It can just be off by a little bit, and you could be off by a mile. It could be the smallest thing I tell you. You know, I had one of these top coaches come to me. He wanted to build a coaching program, and he paid $12,500 for 6 months. He paid me $12,500 for 6 months. We got on one 20-minute call. Usually the call's an hour, but he didn't have that much time. He's like, Wes, I got 20 minutes. This dude's a baller. He already makes like $1 million a month. After the first day after we...
Why would someone who makes $1 million a month contact this guy? That doesn't make any bit of sense. If you're making $1 million a month, you don't need to be calling anyone. You already know what you need to know. He's bullshitting.
Broke down his systems and what he was going to sell. His program was $12K. And it was a full group program. No one-on-one anything. Full group, $12K. He sold 10 the first day. 10 the first day, motherfucker. And then the next day he posted on his story, or on his wall, on his page, he said, if someone has something going that you want, you pay them for the result. Not...
By the way, folks, the person he's talking about is Greg Cardone. So, and Greg Cardone has already said that, but he's up there acting as though Greg Cardone consults with him, you know. So it's not a friend, it's Greg Cardone, and he said that in one of his videos. He may change the numbers slightly, but this, you know, he's just straight up BSing. He's trying to put himself at the level of Greg Cardone, and he would look at him like a bug.
Not their time. This dude is so smart because he doesn't have that much time. He doesn't want to pay me for my time. He wants the fucking result. Very few people nowadays really want the result. They kind of just want to talk and buy time so that they don't have to work. If you're someone who wants the fucking result, like this massive coach who works under all the top people did, you better fucking pull the trigger now. The internet is not getting easier to blow up on. It's not. 100%. Everybody's views are diminishing.
That's just not true. The internet's actually increasing. And the thing about it is, as long as you're putting out good content, it doesn't really matter how many views you actually get. You know, there was a time before there was YouTube and social media. Back in the day, we used to have to go on forum to forum in order to sell ebooks. So the internet's actually gotten a whole bunch easier. Plus, it used to take a lot more time to build a website, whereas I can put one together in like 30 minutes, literally. I don't have to use Microsoft Front Page or Arachnophilia or anything. So, again, it's just a bunch of hyperbole that he's kicking.
Everybody's follows are getting harder, all that shit. But guess what? Everybody's still making life-changing income. You guys, Show up for your people regardless. Create who, don't worry about how. And when you know you're the person who you would listen to, then you're ready. Let's go!
Are you ready for the GP life? Wes Watson. Let's see if Wes Watson has a net worth. As of 2023, I don't know where this is going. This year, he doesn't have $27 million. I would honestly say it's more this at 1.7 million. Guy like that wouldn't have 27 million, especially having a setup like that. But 1.7 million dollars, that's good money. That's really good money. All right, folks, who should I review next? Let's see if Richard is online. Let's see whether Vegan Gains actually decided to take a day off. How about that? He decided to take a day off. He's not streaming tonight. That's a good thing. Take a little time off, not stream every freaking day. All right, who should I get next? How about some Blaha? Blaha. Oh, no. I know. Yeah, J Masters. Let's see how long his is.
Zach is the first one checking in.
Is this the video? No,
My short-term goal.
This isn't the video I wanted to see. Where's that one to where he was? There we go. That's it. That's the one.
What's up?
What's up?
I thought we were done filming for the day.
You just told me to turn the camera on. What are we doing?
Dude, you got some kind of fucking problem?
Yeah, I do, asshole.
Get out of my fucking face with that.
Now, one thing is for sure, he's definitely lost some weight there. That's for sure. But that could be due to getting older. And being in the hospital, no matter how much he wants to get back into his original form, you know, he's in his 50s now, so... But he is looking a lot leaner. Someone had told me about that he's gotten leaner and he took off his shirt, so I wanted to see it for myself. So he's definitely a lot leaner.
Fucking camera.
No. Look at this thing.
290, Dale. I can see pictures of you at 290, Dale. Come on, Dale. You'll never have this kind of mass, Dale.
Look at this glistening, bronzed...
He's still got some pretty small arms.
peak masculinity.
For the Goodrum Group.
Vince with a $100 donation. Definitely appreciate the donation. Remember, folks, we are the Goodrum Group, and we are all homosexuals. But definitely really appreciate it. He always take good care of me, man. That's for sure.
Hey, what's up? He's posing, bro. Don't interrupt him.
No, I'm a YouTube celebrity.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a YouTube celery. Come on. What do you think of the back?
Looks fake. That's good.
Give us a little play-by-play. All right, Jay, let's see it. Pretend you're on stage at the Ruby. Look at those milk udders. Lactating? Is that milk? What do you think?
Side chest. Very nice. Very
Nice, you like?
Did you see the calves?
Well, at least he knows his bodybuilding poses.
Oh shit. How are your hamstrings?
It's still a little sore.
Yeah.
Does he know what you're referring to when you say that?
He was there.
I was there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He was one of the guys that helped pull me on the boat. I blacked out for a few moments.
Yeah.
From the time I called for help to the time where I sat down to catch my breath, I don't really remember that 30 or 40
Yeah, you
seconds.
looked like you were out. Yeah.
You care to elaborate on what you're talking about or no?
I injured myself trying to board a ship last weekend.
Yeah, that went poorly.
Yeah, I hesitated. I put my foot on the boat.
See that scab?
Do you want me to film it?
Yeah, go ahead, since I'm telling the story. I tried.
Holy moly, what the heck happened? Is that from that boat incident that you guys were telling me about earlier? You know, honestly, there's a lot going on with that. I mean, I'm sure some of this scabbing is from powerlifting, but that's a little much.
I tried to board a sailboat off from the dock, and I did not commit. I put my foot on the boat started to drift away from the dock. I got caught in the splits and had to call for help. I wound up pulling my hamstring. So,
What is it with you and needing to call for help, man?
Yeah, he was just hanging off the lifeline of the sailboat.
Seriously?
Yeah, his feet in the water.
Where were you sailing to?
Nowhere, man. We're just working on the boat.
Just working on a boat but not going anywhere?
Just came to have a beer.
so I think it must have been the pain receptors that kind of blacked me out for a few moments.
It's not infected. Looks like the blood just coagulated, but he does need to bandage it up so it doesn't get infected.
Could have been, yeah.
Because literally, I remember calling for help. And did you
It has the potential of getting infected, but it doesn't look like it is quite yet.
guys actually have to pull me? Or you see, I don't remember any of that, really. I remember being caught in the splits, and I remember sitting down, and that's when I saw my leg. So I think my shin must have got caught up in the cable around the railing of the boat.
Yeah, there's like a metal.
So if I film you or no?
Yeah, sure. There's like a metal cable that goes all the way around the boat, and
Right,
that's
right.
what you scuff your shins onto.
Did you have to like help him up? And
Oh, yeah.
Did you tend to his wound?
No, wasn't bleeding actually.
It was down to the bone.
Yeah.
It looked like it was all white. Like,
My buddy Paul, first thing he said is, "Get off the boat, you're gonna bleed everywhere." But he wasn't bleeding.
Just a nice scrape.
Yeah.
yeah,
Glad you survived.
it won't be the last time. I'd like to say I learned my lesson, but
But you didn't.
Sure.
All right, so we just got done filming some really, really good workout stuff here at the gym. And that's it.
remember to keep your powder dry and your pecker hard.
Got that?
Word. See you around,
All right,
guys.
bro.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, that was one I wanted to see. Let's try Greg Doucette. Yeah.
And so when you see the final scorecard, you see all straight first, a perfect score of 5. Do you really?
Yeah, well, let me rewind that.
And so when you see the final scorecard, you see all straight first, a perfect score of 5.
Hate to start this very early. He got 5s? This nigga got 5s? What the... You know, I didn't see any issue with it. I was expecting to see maybe 10s and stuff. 5 is... He definitely shouldn't have got 5s. I mean, he definitely won the show, but, you know... When you award someone with a 5, that means they have a perfect physique. So, ugh.
Do you really think it's impartial? Do you really think no judge can see what the judge next to them is writing down? Remember, I'm a judge. Coach Greg and the Toronto Pro Super Show, it's just finished, and I want to give you my impressions, my opinions, who I thought should have won, if the winner deserved it, and so on. I'm going to go through as many categories I can think of, and the overall experience of being here at the Toronto Pro. Now, I haven't attended a pro show in over 4 years, and I can say the difference from when I competed 4 years ago to showing up now, surreal. So many people are watching my videos, getting my cookbook, tell me stories of how I impacted their life. Absolutely wonderful, amazing to hear. It certainly made my weekend. And so let's get into the main category that probably the most of you are interested in, the open men's professional bodybuilding. And so as soon as I watched Ian Valliere walk out and do his...
That's not a 5, folks. I mean, look at the chest. I mean, he's definitely not... Yeah, that's not a 5.
Poses, I thought, this guy, he's got it in the bag. But I then saw, I think his name is Mustafa. I don't know people's names. I forget them all. I think it was Mustafa, a guy in red. And the more I watched him pose, the more I began to like him. And by the night show, my personal opinion, that's right, it's just mine, is that I would have favored him to win over Ian Valliere. They both had their strengths and weaknesses. Ian Valliere was more conditioned in the lower half. The side poses, Ian had more definition, the hamstrings and so on. But in comparison, this Mustafa, the chest, the striations, the mass in the arms, absolutely out.
I don't get these bodybuilders. You know, they should be checking the lighting first, and they really need to get a much darker coat of Protan on. Either that or the lights at the Toronto is way too high. Whenever I saw the pictures, I thought it was really nothing, but really it looks like it's just a tan. Either that or the lights are actually way too high.
Outstanding. And so in the end, when I judge a bodybuilding competition, I'm thinking, which physique would I more like to have? Would I prefer to look like Ian Valliere or like Mustafa? And for me, it's Mustafa. Although I thought he would win, of which he did, and he had straight first place votes, I personally favor Mustafa's physique more than Ian Valliere. Doesn't mean Ian didn't deserve to win, but on a different day with a different set of judges, I could easily see it going the other way. Also of note, in that division, Robin Strand was blowing my mind. He's also from Canada. When he turned around, the hamstrings, the glutes, the definition, this guy improved tremendously. He placed 4th, and I was shocked. I never knew Robin could look this good. He certainly far exceeded my expectations. And moving over into the 212 category.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do on his back. Let me play that back again.
In that division, Robin Strand was blowing my mind. He's also from Canada. When he turned around, the hamstrings, the glutes, the definition, this guy improved tremendously. He placed 4th, and I was shocked. I never...
Yeah, I mean, his hamstrings are good and everything. Glutes are good. Not trying to look at asses, but this back... There's nothing so much as wrong as his back, but he needs to develop it more. It needs to get a little bit of muscle maturity in it. But if he keeps training in a couple of years, that back is going to come out pretty good.
I knew Robin could look this good. He certainly far exceeded my expectations. And moving over into the 212 category, all I can remember was the guy who won. I'm told he used to compete in classic physique. This guy won by so much, it was as if he was in the wrong category. I was like, oh my goodness, the thickness of the chest, the arms, the mass, the size. looked like a mini Derek Lunsford. He looked absolutely incredible. He was the first one to pose, and I thought, is anyone going to look like this? And so I was...
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the 212. I mean, plus there was very little competition. So it doesn't surprise me that someone from a classic physique just scooped in and found an opportunity to get a win in.
Not surprised to see him come out on top. Next, my favorite category, and you know why, classic physique. And the winner of this competition, he's only 23, maybe 24 years old, from Montreal, Canada. He's the one with that crazy hair bun thing on the top of his head. This guy looked incredible. I was mind blown, and he can only get better. He could even get leaner in future competitions and add in more muscle. And so I see him as a top 5 favorite at this year's Mr. Olympia. And this guy turned pro as a natty. And since that time, he's grown tremendously.
Well, the word natty is very questionable.
This guy's potential is unreal, looks incredible. And
he is right. He does look pretty good overall, especially a good classic physique. So he definitely has the genetics, that I will give you. The natural term, that's very suggestive, given that I've seen the other physique before.
And so look for this guy at this year's Mr. Olympia. Also wanted to point this out. In the amateur division, the guy who won light heavyweight bodybuilding the day before, he also won the overall in classic physique. This guy looked astounding. The back double bicep in particular, every time he did that pose, I had to see it. It blew my mind. The condition, the shreds, the glutes, the hamstrings, the detail in his back, the V-taper. This guy had an incredible physique. Think of it. He won light heavyweight bodybuilding. He then competed the next day in classic physique. Remember, this is a light heavyweight champion, but he was too small to meet the first goal. Not enough muscle. A light heavyweight champion bodybuilder is not nearly big enough to make the first call out in men's classic physique. And so when you see men's classic physique, don't think, oh, these are just guys they're more natty. They're not as big. They're downsized. They're ginormous, monstrous athletes. Chris Bumstead.
Greg is right there. Chris Bumstead is huge. A lot of these classic physiques, they're pretty similar to the 70s physiques. You know, they're going to be some huge guys. Just about as big as an open bodybuilder. Just going to be a lot more leaner.
Is not small. And so this guy who turned pro, if he puts on 10 pounds more muscle, look out for this guy as he looked incredible. And in the amateur bodybuilding division, there was a huge debate. Who's going to win the overall? Forget the guy's name. He was 280 pounds in the super heavyweight division, 6'3". He was a giant. In comparison, there was a guy in the heavyweight division with amazing shape. And of course, the light heavyweight who won classic physique. And for me, it was the heavyweight all along. He had amazing shape, detail, strided glutes, hamstrings. He had it all. And all I could think of in my mind is he either needs to compete in the 212 category or he needs to switch over to classic physique. And so the heavyweight and overall bodybuilding champion of Canada, my opinion, should switch to classic physique. If he can do that, he's making it to the Olympia. And so that is how difficult it is to make it in classic physique. You need to be the best bodybuilder in the country and then switch over to classic. Personally, I don't like how it's headed. The guys who competed in men physique, all of them are bigger than bodybuilders. I've heard rumor they're going to set in a weight class for men's physique divisions, of which is ridiculous. All that's going to do is force all guys in men's physique to eliminate legs from their training because they're trying to downsize them. But all that will do is create pencil leg guys with huge upper bodies, like those.
Some of us have always felt it, that burning desire to go out there and see things for ourselves, to find out how the world was discovered. We are the curious and the sea.
Doing something for me for a change was getting my
I got to do something about these commercials if I'm going to be doing regular live streams.
Magazine cartoons of old, the guys with the skinny pencil legs and huge upper bodies, that's not what we want. And consider in women's physique. Notice in women's physique, there's no weight.
Women's physique. Oh, boy. That certainly is a pick and mix, that's for sure.
Class. There's no weight limits. We see a guy like Earl, who I met over the weekend, talked to him, we're going to collaborate. The guy's 270 pounds. He has to make 230. He's 40 pounds over the weight class. And so why are we having weight classes? Why not just say, show up and look the way you want, and we'll judge you accordingly. Women's physique, they have no weight limit.
Well, Greg, that was tried at the 1980 Mr. Olympia, if you recall, and that didn't go over very well. I think it's good to have different weight divisions because generally speaking, if you do a complete open, usually the person that's going to win is going to be usually the biggest person.
Look the way you want. Bodybuilding, look the way you want. And so all they need to do is implement that, forget these height and weight restrictions, and just say, compete, look the way you want, and we'll pick the best looking person on that day. Next up, men's physique, probably the category that least of you care about. But listen, these guys, they look ridiculous.
And by the way, I did use that particular reference. I'm fully aware that, you know, most contests before 2006 were open, but I'm speaking of the 70s and 80s simply because that's the time of the classic physique itself. So
ridiculous. Like all of them, I'm not kidding. Every single one of those guys have bodybuilding physiques. They have very, very tiny waists, huge muscles, and they're shredded. And I'm talking 5% body fat. If you show up at 6%, you're not lean enough. You might place top 10, but you're not winning the show. And so quite literally, some of these guys in men's physique, they're bigger than the guys in classic. I think they could compete in either or. And in fact, on the amateur day, I watched guys compete in board shorts and compete in classic physique. They do better in the board shorts division than they did in classic physique. They just simply look the part because they're covering up their legs. And so if you have a tiny waist, wide shoulders, ridiculous amounts of definition, that's men's physique. To me, that is bodybuilding. And so what would I want to see, and I've been preaching this for years, they need a new category for men. Let's call it muscle model. Let's judge 50% of the criteria on how hot are you visually. I'm looking for a supermodel with...
Well, if you're going to do modeling, then it's not bodybuilding, you know, plain and simple. That's one thing I was always confused with. I can understand whenever there was the physique division where people wore board shorts, but they really need to eliminate the board shorts division. I think it's out of place now that the classic physique is around.
With a pretty eyed body. Not one that you need steroids to achieve, but somebody that would look amazing on a magazine cover, perhaps at the beach. A guy with a respectable amount of body fat, a respectable amount of muscle, but not somebody that needs to use 10 years of test and trend in order to get up on stage. Men's physique right now are all bodybuilders abusing every drug possible in order to have enough muscle to get on the stage. That is what you need. One guy in the professional division loved his look. He was shredded, he was peeled.
Quick pump, the vast majority of bodybuilding shows is a losing venture. Most people lose money doing promoting bodybuilding shows. There's very few that make money.
It wasn't big enough. Didn't have enough muscle. My opinion, that physique could win. You shouldn't need to be well over 200 pounds in order to win men's physique. Another thing, there's two separate categories, bodybuilding and women's physique. They don't need both. Both is ridiculous. I think there are 4 bodybuilders and perhaps there are 10, 12 women's physique. It's the same frigging category. It's the same sport. The same people can win. Bodybuilding is filled with girls with a ton of muscles or shredded. Physique, same thing. Lots of muscle, shredded. I don't see girls walking out of women's physique and saying, oh, you know, her delts are just too big. There's just too much striations in her back. And so enough with this. Combine into one. If you have a gut on stage, a bubble gut.
That I agree with, actually. There shouldn't be a women's physique and women's bodybuilding. It needs to be combined together.
Got a GH, cut it what you will, and you compete, you get scored down. We don't need 2 categories when there's only 4 in one category and 10 in the other. Could have had a contest with 14 and just had it all together. In women's figure, 2 girls, they stood out above the rest. I was watching all the girls come out. I videoed 2 girls that really stood out in my eyes. And to no surprise, they placed in the top 2, both of them. absolutely incredible physiques. And what I notice is over the years, the girls have gotten much bigger, much leaner. The size, absolutely incredible. And it's to the point now where if you win a women's physique pro card, you then switch down into figure so that you have enough muscle to compete. And in women's bikini, to me, this is the most subjective. I have personal favorites I'm watching, and I can tell who's going to win and who's not going to win, because whoever they're putting in the center, you know they're going to win. When there's 5 people, there's one standing right there, that person is going to win. These people are not going to win. And so when I see 5 people standing there, or perhaps 4, I know this person and that person, they're not winning when it's being prejudged. It's not how it works. Doesn't mean I can't think that that person's the best, and it doesn't mean that that person isn't the best. And so just because you placed 3rd or 4th, for example, doesn't mean you didn't deserve to win. On that given day, with those specific types of judges, and in fact, mostly with that specific head judge, that's what's going to happen. Remember, the head judge decides who goes where. If I...
Oatmeal, Dylan could be a Mr. Olympia competitor, but that would be in the classic physique. He would actually have to put on a lot more muscle, but, you know.
Had been the head judge in certain categories, somebody there I would have placed there. And so instead of placing 3rd or 4th, because the head judge, me, would have placed them there or there, they would have placed 1st or 2nd. And so you can see how easily all the other judges are biased. And so when you see the final scorecard, you see all straight first, a perfect score of 5.
I don't think the judges are biased. I think Greg is in the same category as me. We just simply don't understand women's physique. I have no clue actually as to how they judge it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just weird. That's why I've never covered any type of women's bodybuilding or women's bikini, women's fitness division or anything in all my time. I've never covered women's stuff. I just don't understand it.
5? Do you really think it's impartial? Do you really think no judge can see what the judge next to them is writing down? Remember, I'm a judge, certified judge. And so oftentimes judges, they want to keep their jobs. And so if you put 5 people out there and you like that one the best, and the head judge puts them in the center, and you place that person last and that person 5th, what do you think is going to happen the next time they look for judges?
Mega Food is a movement, a mission, a 50-year history of combining fruits.
Are we going to hire that person that gave that person first? When I put them in the middle, I'm the head judge. I'm the most important. And it's not all the head judges, and it's not at every competition. And I'm not saying it happened at this competition, but trust me, it happens. There's a huge influential bias on what you hear the head judge putting the athletes in, and your ability to be impartial and to write what you actually think. Think of it. If you were on the fence and there were 2 athletes neck and neck, and they put your favorite here, and the other competitor you put there, do you really think you're going to then say, I'm putting that person first and that person second? There's no way. You're being biased. Perhaps if you're brave, you'll put that person in 3rd. Most won't. I will.
Again, I can't tell the difference here, Greg. That's one thing I have to disagree with Greg on. I think he has limited knowledge on judging a women's bodybuilding show. I could be wrong, but it just doesn't make much sense.
But most people don't do that. And so to me, should be a change in judging. The head judge should not have such an influence on who's being there. Imagine, the head judge doesn't like, you have red hair. I'm not into red hair. You have blue hair. I don't like that. Tattoos, I'm not a fan. And so they call out the first call of 5 people, and they don't have you in the first call. Does that mean you didn't deserve top 5?
I've never seen... Greg is going to need to show evidence to where a judge picked the competitor because they had red hair. You know. I've not seen it yet. I mean, I don't keep up with the sport, but I've at least watched the presentation enough to where I've never seen someone get picked just because of hair color.
Well, in the head judge's opinion, you didn't. But maybe you did. You can go to another show the next week, and perhaps you win. You don't know. In the end, placing is just the icing on the cake. The journey to the stage, that is the most important part. For me personally, when I competed, my favorite part was the 12 to 16 weeks of dieting leading up to the show. The show day, to me, that was very stressful. Kind of just wanted to get it over with. because all the fun was in making it to the stage. I had more fun in the 12 or 16 weeks prepping for the show than I did in that 1 or 2 minutes that you're on stage. And
He is right about that. I enjoyed training for a show more than I did actually getting on stage. Getting on stage is very nerve-wracking. It really is.
oftentimes it really is only 1 or 2 minutes. I had a great time meeting up and talking to so many fans who are watching my channel. It was such an honor to meet all of you and take photos. Hopefully you're tagging me in that. Hope to see everyone again so I can attend more of these contests in the future. And just an FYI, Cookbook 3.0, it's now available. Anyone who's bought a book at a pass, please check.
Okay. There was one more video I wanted to review. Guess we're going to go over the 11 p.m. So, which one was it? Hang tight. Which one was it?
The hell is this?
No, that wasn't. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. I want y'all to take a look at this. It is possible veganism. Now take a look at this stuff here, man. This is ridiculous.
Like seeing animals get harmed. Oh, yeah.
Yes, a raccoon is biting a little girl. Now, we would expect Richard to feel sympathy, but let's take a look and see.
Fucking raccoon. You sent me this the other day. I don't know why the fuck that kid freaked out that a raccoon was biting her.
The kid freaked out because a raccoon was biting her, you idiot.
Fucking cares? They don't.
Who cares? Obviously, her mom cares.
Even really bite hard. I've gotten bitten by a raccoon before.
You know, that's basically the explanation that Richard is giving. I got bitten before. When you get bitten, it hurts, you know. And for a little girl, it's going to be a very traumatizing experience. Especially since this raccoon actually has rabies.
Usually if they're biting like this, they're not, like, really doing much other than just trying to get you to leave or something. Like, they...
Why should someone leave their own fucking house, you know?
Feel threatened. Poor raccoon. Just let her bite the kid. Asshole.
Oh, boy. What a nutcase. See, folks, this is an example of nicotine tablets not working. Remember what I told you guys and what I told Richard? That those nicotine tablets are not going to keep him calm. It's not going to keep him from going nutty buddy. Obviously, he's going nutty. So, it doesn't work. And the TB500 is going to make it worse. Screen off. All right, let's get a little. Like I said, I'm going to be doing longer shows if you guys can tell. So just look out for that. All right, folks. If y'all want to throw anything in the donation pot, you can do that too. And let's not forget, we got to do the old soul. I need a new mic, KCB. Could be worse, though. As long as the video ain't choppy. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. This isn't a professional microphone, Pugman. And my voice is so deep, it will cut off the microphone. It's nice having licensed music. Good stuff, isn't it? Hey, Andrew, I'm about to close out the show. Yeah, I ran the stream a little bit longer. Well, the replay is still going to be in. I may debate Richard Friday, as long as he doesn't get a bunch of people to help him out. I got really irritated at that. Oh, Andrew, no worries. That's what the replay is all about. It's cool, man. It's cool. Now that I got the router, I'll be able to do more videos. So just watch out for that. We'll do some at different times as well. But again, thank Pugman for it. So I'm going to be spending $100 a month on it there. We're going to put it to good use, you know. But folks, that's the power of a $1,200 cellular router. Now, I may end up eating my words if otherwise. Absolutely. All right, folks. That is the end of Earl Grey Tuesday. May do another live stream, maybe tomorrow or the next day. It just depends. We'll probably start Friday's live stream at 9 o'clock p.m. But we will be doing longer streams now that I got the router. Because like I said, we're gonna put it to work, folks. But I want to thank Rip. I want to thank Vince. Vince always takes good care of me. I want to thank Goldberger for donating. I want to thank y'all all for joining me, hanging out with the great one. You folks, y'all have a wonderful night. I appreciate everyone for supporting me. As always, peace and soul.